Hey guys, welcome to my Beyond the Mic video. What is that? Well, aside from being an incredibly cliche and somewhat pretentious title, it's basically a video where I kind of connect with you guys. I talk about the good things right now in my life and the bad things, and I try to give you guys some things to think about, I guess. I hate to say I'm giving you advice, because far be it from me to tell you guys what to think or what to believe or how to act or whatever, right? So just kind of things, some meanderings in my head that I'll pass on to you guys as well. This is probably the third or the fourth or the fifth, I don't know, video that I've done in this series now. And again, if you're looking for any sort of gaming content by any stretch of the imagination, this will not be it. So certainly feel free to click off now. So what I do want to talk about again is things, let's start with the negative, because even though I think everybody's probably like this, you try to be the best person you can be. You try to be friendly and nice and cordial to others, and just a productive and generally positive member of society, no matter where you live in the world. At least I think we all strive to do that to the best of our ability. But internally, we all have kind of our inner demons, our monologue, things that we struggle with, It could just be stress and anxiety because of school or relationships or money or whatever. It could also be something even darker or not. So for me, starting with those things, of course, I always try to be the best person I can, right? But and I present myself to you guys in my normal content as a happy person. And I think that everybody does that, because why would you constantly be negative? It's not a good look, right? And no one wants to do that either. And my mission every day is to kind of add a little bit of levity to your days in mobile gaming, right? Certainly not curing cancer, certainly not doing any incredible good in the world, but that's my little piece of the puzzle. At least I like to think that, to make myself feel better about covering just mobile games for a living. But internally, I'm not a happy, pleasant, and just cool, calm, and collected person all the time. I do struggle a lot, and just in case you missed my previous Beyond the Mic videos, I've dealt with a lot in life. Just to be candid, I had really major health issues, which I still have. I have really small lung nodules in my lungs, which are a very, very early stage of cancer. And I do go for screenings, or not screenings, but scans to monitor them every 6 months or 3 months, depending on the growth, at my local hospital in Boston. So that's a lot of anxiety, but I've learned to live with it. I've known about this for about 8 years now. So after I lost my mother to a similar sort of cancer, so it's a rare kind of genetic mutation that I have that we found out after my mom had passed. We all kind of got tested, and I came back positive. And then after they found those, after I came back positive for the mutation, that's when they did the first scan, and that's where they found these really small nodules slowly growing. So that's kind of where I am right now. They're still being monitored, but it's always kind of like an underlying stress. I mean, the first year that I found out about these, I was thinking about them all the time. I thought I was going to die the next day, right? But now I've learned to just live with it, and it doesn't really bother me anymore. However, the loss of my mom still, it's weird. When you lose a loved one, and by the way, this won't all be like incredibly negative and morbid. I just want to lay some kind of context out there so you guys can know a little bit about me and where I'm coming from in my depression and anxiety, which we'll get to in a second. So, having lost my mother, she was, she was my mom, right? She was someone who cared about me, obviously, which is nice to have those people in your life. And of course, no one can really replace your mother. So that was a huge blow. Up until that point in life, I lived a pretty normal life, absent of any huge pain or life traumatizing situations. I did grow up with an autistic brother who, after my mom passed away, along with my dad and my other brother, my surviving brother, we kind of took care of. Not only is he my brother, but also he was on the severe side of autistic, verbal, but probably about the verbal skills in the intelligence, education wise, as maybe like a 4 or 5 year old. So But of course, he was, he had a charm and personality and just an amazing guy. He's just a really special person to me. And after my mom passed away, it was kind of like I had some sort of a solace and respite in the love and relationship with my brother Sean. And as you guys know, if you watched the previous Beyond the Mic videos, when he passed away 2 years ago, tragically, after a seizure, his heart just failed after he had a seizure, and he was epileptic his whole life. So it was incredibly, you just don't see it coming, and when you get that phone call, your whole world changes, so it's hard to even articulate, as you can see in this video. And even after 2 years, I still haven't been able to kind of mourn or come to terms with his death. And part of me has really just thrown myself into YouTube as sort of a mechanism, sort of a vehicle to avoid confronting mortality and, more specifically, the loss of my brother. I was given that opportunity with my mom, and I do feel a little bit different about the relationship with my mom having passed away and my brother having passed away. However, with that said, it's still something that I really, really struggle a lot with. So I don't know. I'm not doing so hot. As I kind of alluded to there, is I've kind of just been an incredibly busy person. Now, it's not the only reason that I'm working all the time. And I rent this nice little office here so I can, have time to focus. And of course, I do have a baby at home, and I feel incredibly guilty for not spending more time there. I mean, right now, at the time of this recording, it's 7:45 p.m. and I haven't head home yet, or I haven't seen my son yet today, other than, when I woke him up this morning. So it's something that I feel an enormous amount of guilt about. At the same time, is I am supporting our family, our house, and our cars, and everything, insurance and whatnot, just on YouTube salary. So I feel that enormous weight of financial burden. So that's the other reason. And at least cognitively, it's the main reason that I'm thinking about why I work so much. But regardless of all of that, here we are on YouTube, and I'm covering a game, or I have a YouTube channel that's predicated, the success of the YouTube channel is predicated on the success of the game that I cover, Clash Royale, a game by Supercell. So that is another amount of stress, because a lot of my success is based on the game's success. And if the game becomes unpopular, then so does my channel, and then I kind of struggle to support my family, right? Now, obviously, I've worked really hard on the business side to create, other opportunities for myself as well, and that helps. So, but, because of all of that, it causes me to be a bit of a workaholic. I haven't taken a day off in 2 years. Even my son's day of birth, I still went back at the office for a few hours at night, made sure I uploaded, responded to comments, and, just got a plan for the next day's video, right? But, I don't want to bitch about, poor me, I'm a YouTuber. It's funny, my other job, I was far less paying than this job, and far more taxing on the body. I was out there, I was a letter carrier for over a decade, and I worked in an inner city area, a very urban area, and you know how they say, rain, snow, or sleet, right? I mean, all through the weather, I was outdoors, no vehicle, I just had like a push cart, right? And it was way more difficult physically, but not mentally. So all of this has led to a high amount of anxiety and depression in my life, all kind of stemming from around the time that my brother passed away. And I've really had trouble negotiating these last 2 years because of that. Now, on the good side, my son was born, Charlie, who he's just... I don't know, words really can't describe how amazing he is. And I know it's cliche to say, oh, it changed my life, I had a kid and it changed my life. But at the end of the day, he's just an amazing, amazing little kid. He's only one, but he already has like that special, unique personality starting to show, which just warms my heart so much. So really, he's the one thing right now that really keeps me going in terms of keeps me from really falling into a very dark place. So why am I telling you guys all this? Well, that's another weird thing about me, is that I have trouble talking to anybody about this one-on-one, but yet here I am recording a video that I know thousands of people will view, and I don't have a problem because right now I'm just talking to that microphone. I'm talking to this microphone, talking to that webcam. That's it. I'm alone in an office building that's empty late at night, and it feels like I'm just talking to myself. So I don't know, but either way, man, Charlie's the best. He's the best, and trying to deal with this, I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. I don't know what the for those of you who don't know my track record here, is it's definitely not like religion or anything like that. With all respect to anybody who does hold those spiritual beliefs, I am a pretty adamant atheist, and it's something that I actually am pretty passionate about, and I'm really interested in theology and stuff like that. So I've done a lot of reading and a lot of audiobooks. 10 years in the post office, walking around 8 miles a day will definitely give you a lot of time to digest and learn a lot, which was actually a kind of a interesting side benefit of the job. So I don't really find solace in the spiritual end of things. So I think for me, it's about kind of just fixing my inner monologue and start writing a narrative that makes more sense to me. I have a lot that I can improve on, and I see this anxiety and depression kind of manifested in several ways myself. One of them being is I have kind of a short temper now, I find myself, whether it be in person or whether it be on social media, I find myself more inclined to kind of lash out. And I think that's a big problem right now in society, not just with me, but with internet culture right now. And I feel the weight of that too on kind of my vibe, right? As a human being, I feel like society nowadays, especially, do yourselves a favor and just never read comments on any video, on any news story, and delete social media. That's like my number one advice to you guys. Having grown up in a time before the internet, I am an old man. I'm 35 years old. I don't feel old, but I guess I am. All of a sudden, you guys will experience it too if you're younger than me, is that all of a sudden one day you're just like, of course I'm in my 30s, I'm not old. But all of a sudden you just go from a 20-year-old, like just kind of partying, doing whatever you're doing, and then boom, like you're in your 30s, and then you think to yourself, wait, I'm like halfway through life. That's if I live to be 70. So there's just a lot to kind of unpack there, but I do, maybe it's when I had my son too at the same time. It's just like, whoa, all of a sudden, and it's probably because I work with, my main audience is like, I think my average age demo is like 22 years old. So I'm still getting like 13 years plus older than my demo. So maybe that's what kind of all adds to the feeling. Either way, I grew up without internet. And before the time where people, I don't know, I grew up with internet before the time where people were so toxic. And if they were, we just didn't know it because there was no internet, or there was no social media, there was no smartphones, there was no internet at all that you can go ahead and just spout at the mouth to people, right? You'd have to do it face to face or on the telephone, which is way more difficult to do. And I think that it's not any individual's fault per se. It's just the human nature that we didn't know about until we had the internet, right? A lot of you guys probably don't know what it's like to grow up without internet. And let me tell you, in a lot of ways it's worse. In a lot of ways it's much, much better. But moving on from that, I want to leave you with one kind of thought here that I've been thinking a lot about lately. And that is the world and society that we live in, especially in the United States of America, where I'm from. I can't speak to the rest of the world because I've never lived in any other place except for the United States. However, my gut tells me it's pretty much the same everywhere, having talked to a lot of people who live in other areas. And it's a little bit of a pivot from the first half of the conversation, but it's something that I've just been passionate about for a while now. And it's whether it's politics, whether it's religion, like we just touched on, or whether it's really any belief that somebody has, is we've become, as humans, addicted to binary opinions. So Either something's good or it's bad. There's those people and there's me. And if you think this, then you are stupid and I don't want to have anything to do with you. We see it in American politics and all politics all over the world every day. And this is not meant to be a political video. So regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, I implore you to try to think for yourself. The tribe mentality that has encompassed the world right now is really disgusting. It really is. And it's kind of living in your own echo chamber, which we hear about a lot, right? But, I only watch Fox News. I only watch CNN. It's American. It's, both political parties. And then you just hear people, and what they're trying to do is get you every day riled up about something else and then tune in the next day. And you think, what are they doing now? What is this person doing now? I hate this person and anybody who supports that person. And then the vitriol just snowballs. And again, this is not meant to be political, but even our political leaders across the spectrum, it's all about a blame game, no matter what is going on. And oftentimes packages of beliefs are sent to you in, okay, I am this, this, and this, and you label yourself. And these are all constructs of society. These are not real. You are a human being of flesh and blood that you can see right now in front of you. And this is not like woo-woo stuff. It's just the facts. These artificial lines that we draw to separate countries and societies and people and box everything into simple good or bad or yes or no, or this causes cancer and this cures cancer, or this doesn't cause cancer and this does cause cancer, or this is, this is safe and this is unsafe. Like everything is black and white, and the world is not like that. The world is gray. It's shades of gray. People can be mostly good and have a little bit of a dark side, like we talked about with me, right? People can be mostly bad and have a good side. There's a lot of nuance in this world, and don't let anybody tell you what you should believe or who you should be. And they're not going to make it obvious. They're not going to come up to you and say, hey, here's what you should believe and here's who you are. It's going to be much more subtle than that. They're going to feed you a few things that resonate with you. And this applies to like your parents as well. It applies to YouTubers like me. It applies to everybody. Don't let someone tell you the way things are. Think for yourself. Think and then form an opinion. And also don't be afraid to change your opinion with the new evidence. To me, it's one of the worst things if someone stubbornly sticks to an opinion and does not change it in light of new evidence. So those are things that I'm thinking about a lot for myself. I consider myself on one end of the political spectrum, but at the same time, I hold beliefs that the other end of the political spectrum would also hold, right? So I think for myself, right? And I implore you guys to do the same. It's something that applies to everything in life, not just politics, not just religion. Not all Christians, are judgmental. Not all atheists are heathens with no ethical standards, right? Or no morals. I think that, again, these are just examples, but just really encourage you guys to think for yourself and realize that everything that you believe are constructs of humans, and it's in your mind, right? And what really is real is the universe and the ground and, the environment. These are real things, and you are a real human being living for a blink of an eye. You are living in this life in terms of the grand scheme of time. I have a cool video that I want you guys to see about time that I'll link in this video description, but it really puts things into perspective on just how meaningless, in a good way, or that's not a nice way to say it. I was going to say how meaningless our lives are, but not in a nihilistic type of way, and more of a, whatever's stressing you out right this very second, this is what I tell myself at times, is it doesn't matter. When you're on your deathbed someday, and we'll all be there one day, it's nothing to fear, it's nothing to be scared of. But when you're on your deathbed, you're not going to look back and worry about stressing out whatever you're probably stressing right now. It's probably true for 99% of the things that you stress about. You're not going to be worried about that. And at the end of your life, you're going to look back and think about things like the relationships that you had. That's what you're going to think of. You're going to think of the successes that you had, and maybe the failures that you had, in the person that you were. And, you know, the old adage is you're not going to be able to take anything with you. So make sure that what you place value on is the same or similar to what you think you would put value on at the end of your life, because that's what's really going to matter, you know? So, you know, I don't know, guys. It's been a very rambly video. I doubt I'll upload it. It's been 20 minutes of me blabbing on, and I don't even know how to tie this into a nice knot at the end. But I guess that's the point of these Beyond the Mic videos. Just kind of touch base with you guys, let you know that there's a real person here. I'm not always some, hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. That's not the real me. You know, and any YouTuber you see, if you think that person is the real person all the time, when the webcam goes off, I keep saying mic, but when the mic goes off too, you're fooling yourself, or they're fooling you. They're not like that. So don't think that you're the only one that feels the way that you feel. And let's get through this together. And, you know, as a final note, you know, to be a little bit hippie on you guys, just try to spread a little positivity. Try to spread a little love. And try to spread a little positivity and love to people who it's difficult to do so. And I promise you, you will find yourself a happier person for doing so. If you don't believe me, give it a shot for a couple weeks. Try and being nice to someone who's your enemy. Try being nice. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But try being, at least, I guarantee you though, you'll feel better about yourself. If you get in a huge fight on social media tonight with a family member, you're not going to wake up feeling better about yourself. You're probably not going to. But if you say, listen, looks like we disagree. I love you and I respect you, but not worth fighting over, or something like that. I guarantee you will feel better about yourself going to sleep that night and the next day. So guys, that's my advice for you. Hope you enjoyed this video. I probably won't upload it as a standalone video because it's so long. I'll probably throw it up on the community tab for my OG subscribers. So guys, thank you for watching. I love you all. I do. Despite my mental shortcomings, I really appreciate what you guys do for me. I mean, not just financially. I mean, you click on my videos, you watch ads, and you're supporting my family. You know, you really are. But also, just mentally, you know, I do respond to comments in the first hour of every single one of my videos, and I've actually grown to really look forward to that, just engaging with you guys. There's a lot of really awesome names that I see every single video, so even if you're not one of them, maybe you don't watch my videos in the first hour, I just wanted to thank you, honestly, for supporting the channel and for supporting me and for watching till the very end of this rambling, incredibly long video. Hopefully you know a little bit more about me. I'd love to know a little bit more about you. Feel free to drop a comment, guys. Thank you, and I'm not even going to give the take care, guys, but love you all.